What is up, responsible day traders? Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Rundown. Today is Sunday, April 2nd, 2023. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. So I've had a pretty rough last week or so. I did go to Mexico for 5 days. Last day, woke up with COVID. So I've spent the last week feeling pretty much like junk. And so I haven't really gotten a lot done, but the last 2 days I'm feeling like I have emerged from the COVID hole and I'm feeling a little bit better. So here I am with you guys today. All right, so the market has been glorious. It has been moving its way to the upside. This area that we talked about previously, it pulled back to that area and it touched it. And we were waiting to see if it was going to roll off the daily EMAs and push down and continue through it. But it looks like that area that we were using as resistance for a long time has now turned into support. So that moving area of resistance that was coming down the daily chart turned into support and moved the market up. Now, the next thing we have to look at is this going to continue? Are we going to turn into a head and shoulders and push the market right back down? We really need to get up through that 4,200 area, break through it, and continue up if we're going to expect more to the upside. Obviously, the way that we work is it doesn't really matter if the market's going up or down. We can take trades either way. I know it's been proven that I prefer long trades over short, but what doesn't matter what way it's going, we still have the availability to trade in either direction. With that being said, if you would like to get some information on how to understand what we do here, we're going to be having a seminar. So we have a seminar for those of you who are brand new to trading and really would like to understand the core of what's going on in the charts. So we have a startup course for those who want to understand that. And then we have another seminar for those who are coming in who have already been through the curriculum, and we're just going to go deeper into detail on things. So if you want some information over that, reach out to us here and you can check the link below and get some more information. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Now, first we're going to check out the news and then we're going to check out the market. So let's go ahead and get on that. All right. So if we want to check out the news, we're going to head on over to Responsible Day Trading. We're going to go to the news drop down and we're going to check out market news. I haven't looked at anything, so I don't know what we've got going on. All right. We got a little bit of stuff going on here. So Monday, 30 minutes after the market opens, we've got some high impact news. Tuesday, also 30 minutes after the market opens. Wednesday, we've got pre-market and we've got some information coming out 30 minutes and an hour after the market opens. So these may be some market movers. Thursday and Friday, they're both an hour before the market opens. So if you don't trade pre-market, these really shouldn't affect you here. But if you do, you just want to keep them in mind. It doesn't mean that you have to stop trading or anything. You just want to keep those times in mind so that if you are trading and things get a little haywire, you know why. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the market has for us. Now, we're going to start off here on the daily chart. We always start off on the daily chart because we want to see what the bigger overall move is. I mean, in the long run, all these are the same market, but we can break it down a little bit more each time to give us low risk opportunities whenever we choose to take trades. So let's look at what happened here. Now here's where I'm talking about how we pulled down to that area of support. It was resistance all through here. It became support here and here. We overran it a bit and you can see we pulled right back into it and now we've pushed to the upside. So there's something very interesting about the MACDs that we see here. The closes first off on the price are to the upside. The MACDs are agreeing. There are blue BBs pushing to the upside and with some strength. They're outside of the Bollinger Bands and moving up. Now, what we may see here is something sort of like a shoulder, head, and shoulders to push it back down. So that's why I want to say we really want to get through this area. Say 4,200, it's a little bit higher, but we want to get through this area, pull above it, and pull back into it and move up. This didn't quite make it. We got above it and pulled back into it, but you can see it pushed down pretty hard. And we may see that happen again. With these closes at the top of the bars and the BBs strong and outside of the Bollinger Bands, it has some possibility of going to the upside. So we want to keep that in mind, that this may still continue to push up. But let's go ahead and look at the 28,657. All right, this is lovely. And this is the box that I had drawn on the daily chart that we wanted to see if we were going to get to and through whenever we were looking at that before. Let's just go back to that daily chart really quick and take a look at that. So here's that box that I drew where the EMAs were starting to open up to the downside and would have been a great area for this to push off and roll down here, but the MACDs never gave the indication that it was going to happen, and it just pushed to the upside, which gave us this lovely movement that we see through here. Now looking at the 28,657, we've got some strength to the upside. EMAs are open, wide, and strong, which tells us strength up. Now the MACDs are struggling to agree a bit. You can see they're not making new highs really here, just barely making new highs whenever we saw this big push up. It's almost like a retracement divergence happening because we can see a lot bigger movement in the price than we saw in the MACDs. Now, even with this bar pulling all the way down here, we'd really like to see that BB push and cross that bottom Bollinger Band if we're going to believe that it's going to continue to push down, which can absolutely still happen. We're still on the first bar being created on the 28,657 for today. So what has happened here is it pulled right back down to that area of that previous low, and it's looking like it's going to give the attempt to push up. Now, knowing that our areas of the EMAs act as magnets, we still may see this pull back a little bit further into the area of the EMA before it pushes up. But right now, in my opinion, and what I can see happening is I can see that it's really attempting to maybe even close this gap and continue with more to the upside. But we're going to want to watch everything really closely as that happens, because as I said, if this BB decides to push down further, get back below this Bollinger Band, we'll be looking for it to kind of reset and pull back a little bit more. Now, something about these BBs that I want to mention, and we'll look at that on the 10,946 in just a moment, is that these are percentages. They're not numbers like the price. The price can keep going up and up and up and up and up, and the MACDs will eventually stop pushing up and pull back. They need that space to run to continue to the upside. But since we're above the zero line, we do still anticipate up, but since we're so far above the zero line, we may see this pull back a little bit before it does move up. So right now we can see these bigger charts are working to continue to the upside. So let's go ahead and look at our trading charts. Now, we always start, it's like a book. We read left to right. We start with our biggest chart on the left, move to our trading chart, and then move to our entry chart for our final refining of the entry so that we can really make it a much lower risk by using that smaller chart. Now, on the 10,946, and what I wanted to mention about the MACDs here is these MACDs have already pushed down again. They've gotten back below the Bollinger Bands, and it's attempting to push down. And it does look like a little bit of strength here, but these are what I like to call the gentle giants. They take a little bit longer to roll over than we see happening on the MACDs on the smaller charts. So it pulled back, and this close on the bar initially obviously was way down here at the bottom, because the bar would not have formed all the way to the bottom had the price not moved all the way down there. And at that time, this particular BB was way down here where the second BB already is. So it was showing at that open that it was going to push down. And we know that open isn't always something we want to trust when it comes to strength and momentum. We typically want to give it a few bars, work itself out, and then we can start really seeing what the narrative is for the day. Now, we did have a pretty good idea that this was going to, at the very least, pull back when it opened up. And why is that? Well, first off, we've got this little reversal bar up here And this blue BB couldn't even get outside of the Bollinger Bands. So every time this pushed up a little bit higher and the BBs were leading a little lower, with the flag reversal bars that we see happening here, it was a good sign that we were going to get a pullback. Now, this doesn't look like much of a pullback right in here, but it really is what's happening right here. And this may not look like much of a pullback, but it is all of this movement in here. And this movement, when it pulled back into the areas of the EMAs, told us it was going to push up when that BB did not break through the bottom Bollinger Band. It pushed up with strength. The BB stayed strong until they started turning white, which really was in tune with the things that we were seeing happening over here to see it pull back. And these moves were getting smaller and smaller, pulling away. And then eventually we had a much, much lower MACD. We can see we had divergence with the MACDs leading much, much lower here and the price leading higher. So it was a good signal that we were going to pull back. I mean, having all this space to run back to the EMAs, knowing that we typically were overrunning this small EMA here, told us that we had a really good chance for this to push down. And it did. So now we need to watch and say, okay, this is really, really pulled back, but the MACDs haven't quite caught up with what's going on. We'd want to see this MACD really, really push up above that top Bollinger Band, get back above the zero line, and show us reasons for this to continue up. So while the overall is up and the immediate on the bigger charts is up, it's a little bit of a struggle. We did break away here and we did get back below the zero line and the EMAs, which tried to shift the momentum on our trading chart to the downside. It hasn't quite happened yet though. Typically, I like to see a second close that's going to happen below this area. And I don't mean just a bar pushing past it. I mean a close below this area and the MACDs leading lower here. You want to see them come back and lead lower. So we want to see the price come down here below this area and close down here. And we want to see the MACDs push down below this area in order to give us some information saying that this has a good chance to continue down. Now, can it continue down from where it's at? Absolutely. And can we take advantage of it? We can take advantage of pretty much any move we like, but we need to pay attention because, as I've said before, not every bar is an entry. We want to make sure that we have good risk on the trade. We want to make sure that our smaller tick charts aren't still showing the possibility of this moving to the upside. We want to see everything slow down. So for that to happen right now, we'd want to see these MACDs push down below here, maybe even pull back up and give us some divergence to push it down. And we'd want to see this MACD start to roll to the downside. Currently, that's not happening. But as we said, it is a slow moving market when we're first opening for the day. This is a great place though, as it's pulling into that EMA to push it down. You can see every time we pulled into it here, it still pushed the market down just a little bit more. And so these EMAs can, while they act as magnets, they also act as rubber bands to push it in the opposite direction. So when it comes down and touches them and pushes it, we expect it to move in the direction of those opened EMAs. But right now we have a lot of strength in the 10946 to the upside. We have a lot of strength on our 28657 to the upside still. I mean, a ton of strength. Do we have room to pull back? We have a lot of room to pull back. We have a lot of room to pull back, possibly into something like this area, which will still have us above this last pivot point. So we may see it pull back here and push up if it's going to continue. So we may see a bit of a deeper retracement happen, which would be right around this area right here, pulling back into that 4100 area as a possibility. Because we're always looking to that next EMA. So if we break through this one and we show reasons for this to continue pushing down, we're going to look for it to break through here and go to that next EMA in order to give us an area to take a trade. All right, guys, that's about it. I am still on a little bit of the exhausted side from the COVID. It's really kicked me in the boo-boo a little bit more than I expected. So I'm tired a lot, but I'm really working through it because I want my energy level up, and I really want to be able to be available for you to answer questions if you have them, and be really on my best for the seminar that we're going to have at the end of this month. So, all right, guys, I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. Take it easy, take it slow. Remember, guys, this is something that I've been doing for quite some time. This is not something that you want to just jump into. It takes a lot of learning, a lot of practice. It takes winning and losing to learn. You really, really have to learn from your losers. And if you don't take the time to sit down, learn what is holding you back, or maybe have someone else look over your trades to say, I can see that you're getting in too early, or maybe you're getting in too late, or maybe your risk is not in the right place. Maybe you have a lot less profit potential than you have risk, and that can really, really throw the game off. So when you're paying attention to those kind of things and you're really focused on the things that you can fix and change, that is where progress happens. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that. If you're looking for something that might help you with that, we're going to have a trader's journal available for you guys really, really soon that will help you walk through and really recognize where you're struggling. So if you're interested in checking that out, just hit me up and I'll be happy to share it with you. All right, guys. As I said, have a wonderful week. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.